Good day everyone and welcome to another episode of CARtalk Extra. Today with us we have someone very special, well known, well loved and well hated in the car industry, none other than Mr. Jan Selaya from CarChecks. Welcome Jan, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Right. So Jan is here to talk about a few interesting topics, and as you know, he runs CarChecks, and CarChecks gives you a multi-point, a 180-point checkup on a checklist on your car to tell you what's good, what's bad, and right and wrong in your car. හැබැයි අද යාන් අපිත් එක්ක ඉන්නේ ඒව ගැන කතා කරන්න නෙමෙයි. අපිට ඊට වඩා සෑහෙන වැදගත් දේවල් තියෙනවා යාන් එක පොඩ්ඩක් ඩිස්කස් කරන්න. අපි බලමු මොනවද අපිට යාන්ට ඒව ගැන අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. So first of all, Jan, a couple of these things that I want to talk to you about. You know the car market. Now, you take the used car market and you have the new car market. This is a phenomenon that I've seen only in our country, where used cars are so expensive. I mean, in any other country, for example, you take my car. I have a Honda Integra. And in the States, it will cost you about $1,000. Whereas I bought mine for easily 10 times that. So more than 10 times that actually. So why does our used car market have such huge stake in the whole industry, and how come? And but then you take newer cars, they are losing their value so fast. I mean, it comes to a point where you can either buy a really good used car or a really hacked new car at about the same price. How does this work out?
Right. You've opened a big can of worms, which I wasn't expecting. But this is it's a very interesting and relevant topic. There are various facets to this issue. For example, on top of my head, as a teenager in 1980s, you could the unregistered price of a Toyota DX wagon, say a 15 to 17 dash wagon, unregistered was about 400,000 rupees or thereabouts. That is, let's say it's a 1987 model. You're looking 30 years down the line, right? That same car, which has been to the moon and back about 15 times on mileage, if you actually look at it, is going as high as 900,000 rupees today. There are various factors for this. Number one is, of course, our policy on tax structure is not right. Of course, you will also see cars, similar cars, let's say similar vintage Nissan Pulsar. You couldn't sell it even if you wanted to. Right? The more reliable cars go for a higher value still. However, so that's why I said DX wagon straight off, because that's a real Land Rover station wagon. If you actually analyze the situation, what's happening is corruption crept into the system, mainly due to mileage clocking, right? Clocking of mileage has been an age-old thing.
Let me stop you for a second there. When you say clocking of mileage, do you mean, what do you mean by that? Do you mean to turn back the odometer?
Yes, I'll tell you in Sinhala, mileage karakola.
Right.
Right. Okay. Mileage karakola එක තමයි. ඉතින් මේ වහන්දා mileage karakola හන්දා values වාහනවල values constant level එකක තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ අර market වාහන. මාකට් නැති වාහන ඉතින් කවුරුත් ගණන් ගන්න නැහැ.
ඒක අර ලංකාවේ low mileage වාහනයක් කිව්වම මාකට් එක වැඩි කියන මතයේ හින්දා නෝක ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ නේද?
දැන් ඔය වාහන බැලුවොත් කිලෝමීටර් ලක්ෂ 10කට වැඩි දුවපු වාහන තියෙනවා. අපි චෙක් කරලත් තියෙනවා. genuine වාහනත් චෙක් කරලා තියෙනවා. 999,999 යනකොට it comes back to zero. But you will see very few vehicles like that. So to cut a long story short, this clocking mileage karapon එක actually is bad for the industry. It's bad for the used car industry also. Various people do it. I know a lot of people do it openly. A lot of people do it with closed doors. But there are people who don't do it also and are still surviving in business and making a profit. Okay? Right. So there are three camps.
Right.
Three categories. So the issue is why it's bad for the industry and why these cars are holding their values. If you look at, as you said, your Integra or let's say a Toyota Carina, those cars, say a 301 dash car, they were imported into Sri Lanka for about 1.5 million, 1.6 million rupees at that time. Today, they're going at 2 million almost. It doesn't make sense. But if you go through the ads and see the mileages, right? Then if you go through the number of owners, which most of them will have 10, 12, 13 owners, and you speak to each owner and see how much mileage they actually covered and add it up and see. So what has happened is a Carina is 2 million, a new unregistered Alto is 2.4 million. Okay,
Right.
you're talking about a car that's 20 years old and a car that's 2 years old. Financially, it makes more sense to put more 4 lakhs more and get a new car with no parts to replace, that is fuel efficient. Of course, it's not a 4-door sedan, but it doesn't make financial sense. So cars, even car dealers who have started this and continue to do it, some, not all, do this, are shooting themselves in the foot because they can't sell their registered stock and they're grumbling. They can't sell their uh, unregistered stock,
as well, yes.
right? Some, right? Because there is this clash in the market, right? But if you look at the trend is to buy the unregistered car because most people now think like me or think like you would. It's very practical. So that is, I think, a major issue factor in car prices remaining high.
Right, I see. Okay, so when you speak about older vehicles, don't they clock the older vehicles as well?
Yes, of course. That's what I mean. If you speak to the 10 owners in that Carina book, for example, and see how much each one clocked, you will find hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles. But if you look at the ad today on various ad platforms, you look at the mileage on the clock or interview the seller, sometimes they're clueless, they are uninformed. They just buy it because it's a marketable car.
Right, right. And of course, like you said, yeah, rightfully. Now, I mean, what I understand is it just takes one of those 10 owners to completely ruin the car. Because it doesn't matter how long the car has run. To be honest, what I feel is it doesn't matter how many miles the car has run. If the maintenance has been done on time, and if the car has been taken care of properly by so many number of owners, it would still be a better bet to buy a car like that rather than go for a car that has been poorly maintained, whether the mileage has been cranked or not.
Absolutely.
But once again, it just takes one of those 10 owners to be negligent and completely ruin the car's record of the spotless record. So like you rightfully said, I mean, the mileage doesn't really matter.
Yeah, mileage. Okay, with age in a car, it's end of the day, it's metal and plastic screwed together. There are things that people don't consider, things like metal fatigue, wear and tear of parts. We come across a lot of used car buyers who, when they come for a check, for example, they expect the car to be like a brand new vehicle. That's not practical. So we explain to them and say, this is an older car, so that you have to expect certain things to crop up because of age or maintenance. If you have a car or you buy a brand new car after 20,000 kilometers, generally you would possibly replace your brake pads. That's maintenance.
Right.
After 100,000, you replace your timing belt. Or at 100,000 or whatever is recommended. Then you change your oil as the dealer recommends or as your driving style determines. Then you would change your tires when they're worn out. You change your rack ends, you change your shock absorbers. At 200,000, you'll change your oil pump. That's just maintenance.
Yeah.
It's not a brand new car. But if you run that, you can do that. I personally have a car that um, uh, has done over 200,000. I have 2 cars actually that have done over 200,000 kilometers. No problems.
Right.
Because they've been maintained properly.
Exactly. That's what I meant. Right, that's good to know. Thank you. And there was a lot of good insight on mileage clocking and why the car market is such. Hi, everyone. Thank you for watching. And I'd like to take a moment to thank our media partner, MediaWise Studio. And also, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video. And also click on the bell icon below so you get notifications whenever we go online. Thank you. And build, drive, inspire.